Captain's Log, Episode 63. This week's episode of the Beer Avengers podcast is sponsored by the Beer and Cheese Collective, located at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Enjoy their eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at the Beer and Cheese Collective. On this week's 5-Pour Beer Cast, Captain Huck and the Beer Wonder reflect on our traditional subject through a seasonal lens and assess just what summer 2022 looks and feels like in the Beer Avenger sphere. Are you having the summer bummers? Or the opposite of that? Whatever that might be called. The Beer Avengers cover the spectrum of our seasonal feelings in about an hour. Remember to like, star, and subscribe whenever that feels appropriate. And send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 63, Bitchin' Summer.
Oh, we're the beer Avengers, beer Avengers, beer Avengers. We're the beer Avengers.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brown Stout.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the Central Valley of California, this is the Pale Ale Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from the County of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder.
And we are
The
Beer
Avengers. Ooh.
Very nice.
Best one yet.
That was real good, y'all. Especially given some of the challenges we've had recently about syncing up. That was beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. It's worth the time we took off to be ready to do it right.
Yes.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Back again here with Hophead Huck and the Beer Wonder, and all of you, the Beer Avengers out there. Because if you're listening, you're a Beer Avenger too. If you're new to the Beercast, you may not know that. Those of you who've been listening all this time, who've been constantly playing the loop of the last 62 episodes, we know you know, but this is for everyone. It's really exciting to be back here. We have been sort of like taking a little bit of a summer break, but we're back in our various virtual studios, and this is exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a moment since we all joined forces together. I know we've been spreading some beer goodness, on our own individual things, but sometimes you do got to check in to make sure that the team is all synced up around our collective beer goals. So I'm excited to hear what you all have been drinking and share a little bit of my misadventures out into the world, even though some of those paths have crossed with you and our other fellow named Beer Avengers out there.
Oh, I don't even know why that's an although, because that's always often part of our stories is our shared experiences and our disparate experiences, and just bring them all together in a wonderful, what's that word you use, Huck, when you mix two beers together?
A mélange.
Yes, what our very experience is a melange of beer venturing.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
how can you say that again so we've got a clean one?
A melange.
It's a mélange. Okay, wait.
Oh, you, okay. One of us. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a mélange.
It's a melange.
I feel like we need to add that to the soundboard. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think we definitely do. It's a melange.
Could get a mélange going today.
Yeah. I think we're all going to be a little more coherent though when we finally get these first pours in. We don't have a guest since Huck is back with us regularly now, so I'm not sure. Who do you think should go first, Beer Wonder?
That's a great question.
Well, let's see here. So it is, we are actually drinking at a more happy hour time for those of us on the East Coast. But given that, Huck, I believe it is close to 4, almost 5 where you
Almost
are.
5 now.
Almost 5. Well, that is perfect happy hour times. You're still in that window where you're going to get a discount on the beers. So I think we should go first.
Well, I've been waiting a long time to present this beer because as soon as I saw it in the store, I knew I had to buy it.
Mm.
And it's called, you ready? Get ready, Captain. Okay. You gotta be real. Okay. I'm just going to show it. Mr. Sparkle.
Mr. Sparkle. Oh, that's a beautiful can.
It's called Mr. Sparkle. It's from Belching Beaver Tavern. I believe they're in the San Diego area. And
yeah,
you can see
I've
that,
been to one of them.
That the character here is a beaver.
So I'm going to have to ask because as we all know, Beer Wonder is a little bit not hip to the times of most pop culture. Is this Sparkle character something important in pop culture?
It's a Simpsons thing. There was an episode of The Simpsons where Homer found out there was that his image had been stolen for I think it was a laundry detergent called Mr. Sparkle.
Shouldn't have had you go first.
So that's sort of like an anime version of Homer on there.
Oh,
right. And so then the family all went to Japan to meet Mr. Sparkle in person.
Yes, and this is appropriately, it's a Japanese style lager. So it's a rice lager.
Oh, very good.
I have my nice. I don't want to spill on this keyboard, but we'll give it a shot because I'm doing my right-handed pour.
I know you got to get the image in there.
I'm just going to move this keyboard out of the way.
For those of you who don't look at our website, you really should, because you will see this wonderful can here. It's basically Homer Simpson, the anime version of Homer Simpson if he were a beaver. So that sort of fits in with the whole Belching Beaver thing. Oh,
now,
very nice.
That is so crisp and clear. That is the it feels like the ultimate crispy boy. Like it feels like it's trying to be the perfect crispy friend who will get you slightly drunk and also sparkly.
So it's as you can see, the little beaver there, and that's the Simpsons character, Homer Simpson. Although I don't know if they have copyright issues with this. Anyway, Belching Beaver, great stuff. It's a real traditional Japanese style lager, but being it's Belching Beaver, which is a terrible brewery name, it's got a nice hoppy flavor to it, much more of an American style lager than Japanese. But hey, we'll go for it. Let's get those other beers open.
They do some really nice lagers there. When I was there in November, I had it was a dark lager, but it was called an unfrozen caveman dark lager.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that one.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
It sounded like fun. Yeah.
Oh, so we've had Belching Beaver on the show before? No, we haven't.
We haven't. I don't think we've had them on the show. We definitely talked about them after my trip to San Diego.
Yep.
All right, we'll get more about that. I want you guys to be able to.
Oh yes. I don't know. I'm not sure what the arbiter of politeness chooses who goes next.
Oh,
thank you.
Goodness.
And it would only be polite if I let the captain go next.
Excellent.
He is the captain.
Thank you very much. Well, over the weekend, I took a trip, and I'm going to be talking about this a little more about, took a nice little tour of some Jersey Shore breweries. And the last one I went to was called the Little Dog Brewing Company. Oh. And this is their Seafarer Stout.
Ooh.
You see a little dog there.
He's got a little dog on it.
I guess the can's a little bit greenish. That's why it seems a little translucent here.
Mm-hmm.
In my masterful technology here. So here we go. Oh, that's a lovely
The
crack.
captain lives in the future. We're just in the past.
All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a dark. Why am I even surprised? This is a dark beer. It is pouring slowly. The head production is tiny. This is
I think only about a 5%er though.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a nitro looking head to it, but I see a little caramel color there. Yeah.
Nice. It's a dry Irish stout.
Oh, all right. Well, it's something that a little dog would enjoy.
I would certainly hope. Well, I don't know if it's actually, if you should give it to your little dog.
Just a capful at the most.
Just a tiny bit. Yeah, the hops would be problematic for them. They don't do well with hops. All right. Well, I guess it's off to me. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, everyone is prepared to be utterly shocked because today I will be drinking a
sponsored pour.
Yeah. It's a sponsored pour.
That's right.
From our dear friends at the Beer and Cheese Collective in Astoria, where you should be going for all of your beer needs.
Of course you should. 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard.
That's it.
Only the finest. In fact, they just had a birthday party recently, which I'm sure we'll discuss.
We certainly shall.
Here. And I have one from a little brewery here in New York City called Deep Fried Beers. They're based out of Sunnyside in Queens. They are brewing at the Alewife at Alewife Brewing on their equipment right now. And I have their Firepower, which is going to be a nice hazy New England style IPA. And the I feel like the like orange color and this like person walking through a flame really encapsulates the heat wave we've been going through in New York City. So I think we're in a good moment for a beer like this.
That's some nice can art for sure.
Yeah.
I think that time you and I visited up there back around January or February, I think I might have had one or two of those beers when I was there.
It's got a lovely grapefruit juice look to it.
Oh, it is. Yep. No head production at all. Well, it's some big bubbles. There we go. Now it's starting.
Ooh, that's a haze bomb right there.
I know it is going to be. It's going to give me all the vitamin C I didn't ever need.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I can already smell it. It's real good.
All right.
Alrighty.
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Right on.
Ooh, it's very nice.
Now, this Mr. Sparkle is what we would call a super drinkable. What do you call it?
A quaffable?
Crushable?
Crushable.
It's a real crusher. Yeah, it's 5%. So it's not. Okay. It's not super light, but really a good hop flavor. I would definitely call this. We have American lager is a style, but I think there's another style, the American craft lager, which is a little bit, or craft pilsner, which is a little bit hoppier, and especially with California ones, like this just has a little bit of that juiciness to it. And if there is rice in there, I think it's fairly light. I mean, it's got a light color, but it's really got a strong flavor. Really, I'm impressed by this beer, and I'm sure that Homer would be too. I know my favorite thing in that episode when they go to Japan is they sit at this American restaurant where all the tables are shaped like the States. And he says, "Oh, we got stuck in Massachusetts." Not a great Homer imitation, but
but almost a little bit Margie there.
Oh,
we got stuck in Massachusetts.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I had the brother-in-law here this week. We've spoken of the brother-in-law before and the whole family, which was nice. But we had to keep them not drinking because they're huge Simpsons fans too. My sister and her husband. So we had to I'd like, no, I'm saving that for the podcast. We drank everything else in the fridge.
Good. I'm glad to hear that someone is helping you clean out the fridge, because I know that had been a solemn responsibility that the captain and I had assisted with, and so I'm glad that's being cared for on your end.
We had a pool party last week. We've had a lot of family visiting, so we've had people drinking the beers. Yeah.
I mean, I am really glad that Belching Beaver chose that and didn't go with their original choice of a name,
which was,
I think it was going to be called the Queefing Clam.
Well, that's wrong in a few ways.
I can't verify whether that's true or not, but it sounds true.
Oh dear. We've turned the pale male red.
We have. We have indeed.
Oh, you got me on that one. That's funny.
Anyway, so I don't know what the little dog would have originally been called, but that's what this one is. This little dog. Strangely enough, it's one of those. It's a pretty small operation there. I think 4 barrels. It may be a little bit more than that, but just roughly that. But it's a small enough place. It's like a lot of these. I went to a whole variety of different breweries over the weekend, and this one is like it's pretty much just there's a fairly small indoor and outdoor seating area with a little brewery in the back. But it's small enough that even though they have pictures of this dog that's on this can everywhere on merchandise and everything, people aren't actually allowed to bring their dogs to the brewery.
Oh, the irony.
Is that like a Jersey thing, or is that a policy at the brewery thing?
I think it is probably a policy because of what they're required to do. My guess is.
I see.
Well, out here, it's like it actually is a state law that you must bring a dog to the brewery.
They kick you out if you don't have one?
They won't serve you.
Can you rent one at the door?
Yeah, they do have like
okay.
Yeah.
Escort guide dogs.
Yeah, exactly. They're technically service dogs. They're there to escort you into a brewery.
My guess is also it's a pretty open area between the tasting room and the brewery itself, and it's not really that blocked off. So if dogs were there, it would probably be hard to keep them out of the brewery proper. So they probably that is probably not allowed, I would imagine. But anyway, this is a wonderful. Like I said, it's a nice. It's got a pretty full body for a 5% stout. But it's got that nice sort of those coffee flavors to it. Very, 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 very drinkable. Good summer stout, I would say.
Good. Yeah. Hey, hashtag it's always stout season.
Yeah, well,
It is. It is.
If you are the captain, that is accurate. So, well, this one is delightful. It is orange juice. It is 8%. It is. I misspoke earlier. It is indeed a double IPA. So let's not
explains the smaller head there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not nice 8%er. I did want to talk a little bit about deep fried beers because they're super fun. They are a sublet brewing company, and they focus on, according to their website, decadent over the top beers. Correct. Okay. This is an oat forward. It's using oats and other grains in it. So that's part of why we got a little bit of the haziness. There's all sorts of extra sugar in there. It's got like a mosaic sort of feel to it and sort of a citra element. So I'm getting a lot of like orange juice, guava, mango, all that stuff that you'd expect at the front. And the aromas are really intense there, but it's very bitter at the end. It's kind of like this piney, herby thing on the second half. So you're getting a little bit of the best of both worlds. I don't know if I'd really call this like New Englandy, because I think of those as like actual juice bombs, but this one's giving me some of that pininess that I love and that resiny feel on the back end that I love out of a West Coast. So it's lovely. I
would say just from the color alone, you'd have to call it a New England one.
It does feel like that, right? But the flavor is so bold it's giving me maybe this is the perfection of that Midwest IPA that I keep searching for. It just happened to come out of New York City. Who knew? But it's real nice. It's real quaffable. It goes down a little bit too easy for 8%. And I do want to point people over to the Deep Fried Beers Instagram, which is at Deep Fried Beers. They have an excellent picture of this firepower in a funky mushroom glass, which has sort of a narrowed base and then a tapered like cap, like you'd expect on a mushroom. And it looks like some sort of psychedelic dream. It makes me very happy. And they do hashtag it as juice bomb. So perhaps I have been overruled by the brewer themselves. I just think it's giving me a little bit more bitter than I'd want. That said, I will take all of them. You can just deliver them straight to me. And oh, by the way, you can order their beers online.
Yes. So, although I do want to offer one update. Yes, that beer you have there was brewed at Alewife. I did recently read a month or two ago that they've outgrown that space and Alewife needed their space back, and they have moved to Crossroads Brewing.
Oh, lovely.
It's just a little bit upstate, not very far upstate, but like around the Hunter Mountain area. I only know that, because I was with some friends at an Airbnb a few years back, and I remember I had to drive half an hour, so I've been to Crossroads. In fact, they even have a growler from there. Nice brewery, but I can see how they might have a little more space for them there.
That would probably be good. Yeah, and it does look like they've got some information about Crossroads Brewing on their most recent Instagram post, which came 3 days ago. Also worth checking out because they're the phrasing of it starts with oh shit y'all. So if that gives you a sense of who these people are and their vibe, that's clearly what's going on. And this beer is definitely an oh shit y'all beer. We will clearly have to make a little trip up to Crossroads Brewing just to pick up a couple and maybe try some Crossroads beers too, because while we're there,
of course, there's great brewers up there. I miss the Hudson Valley. I'd like to go up there myself. That's and the name Deep Fried too, just screams, let's go for it.
Yeah, decadence. I mean, it harkening back to, we're getting to we're in August. So end of August, of course, for me is Minnesota State Fair, where everything is deep fried. And honestly, with the bitterness and the high alcohol, I bet if you did this with something that was deep fried, it would cut through some of that grease and really kind of make it a nice combo with that kind of thing.
Well, you have to beer battered fish and chips, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Or a corn dog IPA.
Corn dog IPA. Why has someone not done that?
I'm sure they have.
Okay, internet listeners, if you have a corn dog IPA, send it our way.
I'm quite certain there's got to be a cotton candy sour as well.
No doubt.
That actually, I'd be interested in
funnel
that
cake
one. And
stout.
My feelings on sours.
Certainly with some with I'm not, I don't, which one would have the with the butter carvings? Where would what style would the butter carvings fit into?
Oh gosh, probably like a cream ale of some
Yeah, I
sort,
think that might
or like
work.
something that's on nitro would be there. I'm curious. Well, we should check it because now the captain and I are buddies with everybody and everybody who's everybody in the Minnesota
Oh yeah,
beer scene.
yeah.
After our Brews Less Traveled episode, but I wonder if the folks at Fair State, who are relatively close to the state fair, and I know that they do have a beer that's there, of course, but I'm wondering if they have like toyed with the idea of like the Butterheads beer, because that is so iconic, so like ultimate Minnesota State Fair.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like. It seems like there's some beer. People are always throwing around the various things they're tasting in the beers, and they're like, it's got a kind of like buttery taste to it, and I'm not sure which beer that would be.
Well, buttery is usually an off flavor.
It's supposed to be an off flavor, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So if the beer is buttery, we may be in trouble. But that said, you can control for that. I forget which of the things is doing that, but perhaps you just make a buttery beer. I mean, butter beer, that's like a Harry Potter
it's
thing,
definitely
right?
a Harry Potter thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have the lactose in the beers, and so
That's
sure.
That gives it a creaminess.
I would think a milk stout would be great for a state fair.
No doubt.
That would be a captain only suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd really need to have the deep fried Oreos in it, though.
Right. Well, this also sounds like a good task for our friends at Evil Twin.
Deep fried Oreo milk, imperial milk stout. Yeah, that's it.
You know, it's funny. The last one I got from them was called Even More Cookie Monster. It was I think the funny thing is that like they claim it was supposed to be a chocolate sandwich cookie. I think because they didn't want to get any copyright trouble by saying Oreo, and they especially didn't want to get any copyright trouble because they made it really confusing and put a chocolate chip cookie on the can. But said chocolate sandwich cookie. It's very confusing, but it's a nice beer.
Yeah,
they put a chocolate chip cookie, but it's chocolate sandwich cookie. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little mixed messages there, but they're into their sweets, their pastries.
They do like it sweet, and they like avoiding copyright infringement, unlike our otter friends over here who are just aiming straight for it, aren't
Beaver.
they?
Sure.
Beavers, there we go.
It is
otter, beaver. See, now I'm ruining it too.
That's why I think the captain's right. They must have just fallen back on this title because it's not a great brewery name, but every beer I've had from them has been stellar. You know, they're into the hoppiness. I mean, they're right up your alley there. Beer Wonder with the like super hoppy beer. I had a hoppy Pilsner and I was like, this is too hoppy.
Ooh. What?
I was like, yeah.
Hophead Huck says something is too hoppy.
I was like, this is an IPA. It's an IPA. But that's the new term, the cold IPA. Have you guys seen this being thrown around?
I have indeed, and I've got a note that factors into one of the places I've been to recently.
Well, for the listeners for the listeners who aren't up on that, should we at least define the term now, or should we save it?
Well, the cold IPA has always been known as the IPL.
Yes.
If you go back to like Jack's Abbey, we had like the Jack's Abbey Kiwi Rising was one that I really liked. So I used to get that at Barcade and places like that. And like, oh man, I love that Kiwi Rising. And it tastes like an IPA, you know, like a West Coast style IPA, but it's a little bit lighter in color and in texture too, because it's more of a lager. It is a lager. And now they're saying cold IPA is essentially the same thing. But
so basically it's like a lager. It's an IPA that is made with lager yeast. And so still has that hop forwardness, but maintains a little bit of that crispiness that we like out of a lager.
Right. I had a great one last week from Fremont Brewing up in Seattle. I think you've probably had the Dark Star from them, Captain. And so this is the one non-California beer I've had. Came from Washington.
I can't speak with authority in this because I was just beginning to scratch the surface of researching this moments before we all met tonight. And there are people who dispute that they are the same thing. But a cold IPA and an IPL aren't necessarily the same thing. But I don't know if it has something to do with the yeast. The thing that I was reading was indicating that cold IPAs are still a little hoppier than an IPL, but you know, I can speak with no authority whatsoever. So all of our IPL fans out there and your cold IPA fans, you know, you can duke it out in the comment section.
I do love that we're on the cutting edge right here of the beer debates, as it should be in Beer Venger land.
Definitely.
You know?
That's right. We're right there. We're so on top of things.
It's why we're here.
It's important. This is the duty that we do for everybody. That's what we do. That's what we do.
No, I know.
But that said,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's been a bit since we've been together, and so I do feel like it is important that we report to our listening world about what is happening in the beer venture sphere.
Yeah. What's been going on in the yeah? Because I've had a couple of weeks where it's been like a little slow, and other places where I visited a lot of places, and yeah, I have a few ideas about how my summer of beer is going. But how do you guys feel? What do you think about your summer?
I want to hear about your summers of beer.
Yes.
but I also would like to
oh my goodness,
get a second pour going, so I'm not. I have to drink quickly. And this is coming from my cellar.
Okay.
And so we're going to take a little visit to the Huckster's cellar. Here we go. Going to the Huckster's cellar, yeah. Come high water or hell, yeah. Filled with barley wines, elder stouts and fines. Going to the Huckster's cellar, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
A little bit off there, but hey, I got something from the cellar. It's one of the first beers I bought when I came to California back in April. So it's been,
oh my goodness,
it's been in the cellar for a bit. This is called the Monkey Mouth Stout.
The Monkey Mouth Stout.
Oh my god. Okay, and it's got a what is it? That's one of the ones with the blue and the red nose. Yeah, what is that called?
It's a mandrill.
Mandrill, yes.
So is a mandrill a monkey? I meant to do that research.
I feel like it's more of an ape, but you know, let's split hairs here.
Somewhere between a baboon and a monkey
okay.
lies the mandrill. Anyway, the mandrill's on there, and this is from appropriately Three Monkeys Brewing. I know there's a Three Monkeys bar in New York City.
Yes, there is.
And they're from, this is a local beer from Madera, California, which is just north of Fresno here in the valley. But it's brewed in San Jose from, it's got me let me do my left-handed pour here.
A lefty pour.
It's brewed at Hermitage Brewing in San Jose. So let's take a look at this. I've got this Burlington glass, which is,
it's so dark.
I don't think this is really a stout glass, but Burlington has decided that it is.
All right.
That's Choir of the Dead on here.
Got a very healthy head there.
Healthy head.
Yeah. Very pretty.
American style stout.
It's also a very it looks almost like a nitro head. It's very, it looks like tiny little bubbles there, and it's really holding together. So there's good protein in there, good nucleation. Very exciting.
Very chocolatey nose there. So, so cheers. Now I can sort of lay back and enjoy this a little bit as opposed.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna need the Huckster report on this one. So please do taste 7%. And tell us.
Oof. And like I said, I've had it for 3 months, but I think it's probably older than that. There's no date on the can, so. Ooh. Well, that's nice. Nice. Real like non-adjunct, straight American stout. It's got that roastiness, super chocolatey nose, and that slight coffee finish there. So right on point. Good on you, Three Monkeys. There you go.
Very good.
That's beautiful. I also just want to acknowledge that apparently I am drinking the highest ABV beer.
Yeah.
This is only 7. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I know this is, I honestly like this. I just need to accept this moment because this never happens. So
that's why I think I'll probably at some point be having a second pour as well.
I should hope so, because you can't let me have this moment. This is not how the world works.
You could have
it. The beer venture sphere is out of line if I'm having the highest ABV beer. So
I think we're right on. And I do want to hear a bit about your summers and what we've been doing. Where have we been heading?
Well, I mean, for me, I feel like I've been, I've been going to some places, and I have really discovered in all my recent trips to breweries and some of my favorite bars that I think it's a really, really great summer of beer if you like IPAs.
It is.
Out here, it's always like that. Yeah.
Is it always though? I feel
California.
like
it does feel that this year we are really IPA heavy. And I do wonder if that is a response to people going out again, and that like people, like we expect IPAs. It's summer. We want an IPA. I mean, my buddies at Five Boroughs just put out a not tiny juicy IPA. They did like the full strength version of one of my favorite beers out there. It's very exciting, but like that is emblematic because they drink beers that are, they make beers that are like of the time and everyone's going to want to drink. And that's what everyone's doing right now.
This is not me dunking on IPAs. That is not what I'm trying to do here. This is me wanting to have more curated menus. And I'm not faulting. I'm not going to name any bars or breweries by name. but because I know that they struggle with what they think people want and what people do want. But sometimes I find the curation is getting a little monochromatic, shall we say. And I'm looking at, and like, I'll go to a place, they'll have 5 double dry hopped IPAs. And like, I don't know how much difference there even is between all of those different ones. And there'll be a few sours there. I'm finding myself, I mean, I think the last time you and I hung out, Beer Wonder, I was just saying, I'm starting to get a little bored with what I'm seeing around. Not that I'm not willing to try those IPAs or those sours. And certainly I've had some like wonderful gozes now and again, but I find myself more and more looking at a menu and just thinking, okay, I guess I'll have that one. Which it pains me to say this because I will keep going back to these places, and I just think but then about a week or so ago, I finally took advantage of the fact those of you, I think always initially most of our listeners are in the New York City area. In New York City, we have this thing called the ID NYC, and it gives a lot of like really great deals to various institutions. And I recently wound up getting a membership to the Film Forum, and I went to see HUD about a week or so ago because I've been watching this documentary. I don't know if you've seen it; it's on HBO Max. It's about Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward, and they talked about HUD. I'm like, wow, that sounds. I've never seen that movie, and so I went to Film Forum and I realized I was in walking distance to the Blind Tiger, and Blind Tiger restored my faith in the art of curation.
Well, if anyone was going to do that, Captain, I feel like Blind Tiger, an old tried and true staple of the beer scene in New York City, would do that for you.
I'm not going to say I was surprised, but I really did feel like I had my faith restored because the thing is, like, they had plenty of IPAs, but I also wasn't able to try everything I wanted to try because everything was so incredibly eclectic. So I'm going to I broke it down in case anyone out there who's programming your bar wants like, okay, this is like a really full rounded. Now, to be fair, they had, out of 28 taps, they did have 8 IPAs.
Well, that's again, they're on trend. They know who they're selling to, right?
Sure. And of the 3 regular IPAs, one of them was a West Coast. And of the 4 Imperial IPAs, one of them was a West Coast. Okay. And they also had a single, to bring this full circle, a cold IPA.
All right.
Now I'm going to read everything else they had. They had a pale ale. They had an English mild. They had a Berliner Weiss. They had a barrel-aged porter. They had a sour. They had a barley wine. They had 2 stouts, one of which was a milk stout. They had a brown. They had a cider. They had now I'm not even sure what this was. It was I have the word Abbey. I'm not sure what that means.
It sounds like something Belgian.
I think Brett was on there as well.
Okay.
They had a farmhouse. They had a Mexican lager. They had a table beer. They had 2 imperial stouts. They had a Belgian white. They had 2 pilsners and an amber. That's even though they
great
sort
list.
This is what I'm saying is, like, I'm not against IPAs. I want people who drink IPAs to be able to have something good, but man, that has plenty of stuff for IPA drinkers to choose from. Maybe sour drinkers might feel a little left out since there's only one of those, but really it's like an incredibly well curated menu, and I need to see more of that.
Well, curation is hard when you are, in charge of a bar, as I'm sure
it is. But they're like one of the original gangsters in New York City craft beer scene. Not always at that location, but they're like, I feel like they're the velvet underground of craft beer bars, because it's like everyone who worked there went and started their own bar and they were like original scene, went and started their own bar somewhere else eventually.
Right on. Well, I just went to a place called Out of the Barrel, which is right here in Fresno. Great place, really nice beer list. And I got their beer list up here, and I just did a quick count. Out of 32 taps, 12 IPAs.
Yeah,
that's still a lot.
Yeah,
but that's how it is here. But I got to give them credit. Like 3-4 lagers. They got a Maibach on here, a red ale. They got not a lot of stouts. That's the only issue. And I think that it has to do with, there's a farmhouse, a honey beer. There's a porter and there's 2 stouts, and then 4 sours, a cider. No, there's another stout. So a cider, and then 1 hard kombucha. So it's pretty well-rounded list. But again, 12 IPAs. But that's kind of the demand too, unfortunately, for us that want a more curated list, in that people want that IPA, especially craft beer drinkers, because if you want a lager, go drink a Budweiser, and if you want a stout, go drink a Guinness. I don't know. I mean, it's like, but it does get repetitive. And I do feel like if you go to, like, say, Other Half, I don't want to crap on Other Half, great beers. They make probably one of the best at making the juicy IPA in the country. But if you go to their brewery, you will see they will have 13, 14 double dry hopped IPAs. And if you line them up, I mean, the difference between them is not, to me anyway, is not that different.
It's strange. It's strange because they also do the dark stuff pretty well also.
Very well.
And I don't know why I don't know why they don't have it more, because recently Beer Wonder and I went on a little tour of some places in the East Village, and we could name them, but I want this makes me want to jump right ahead to our second stop on the visit. Was Proletariat recently opened at a new space,
right,
not far from their old space. And it was interesting about we talked about the Proletariat a few times here, and about how they've got some really interesting curated beer. And it's a little pricier than some places, but I think it's it's worth treating yourself now and again. But they were at a place down in St. Mark's. It was a tiny little space that if you were there at the right time of day, it was fine. But if you're there like on amateur drinker night, it would just you couldn't walk. You couldn't enjoy yourself. The nice thing about the new place, it is definitely much bigger, but maintains that intimate feel.
Okay, nice.
It's really great. And they have a fantastic menu. And I think they had like 3 or 4 other halves that I wanted to try. And I may have only tried 2 of them because other half did fit into some of the categories that I like very much. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm sure that they had plenty of IPAs as well. I'm sure that if there was, Beer Wonder had at least one of them.
I definitely had one of their IPAs there.
Yeah.
But I do want to mention for Proletariat, what I do appreciate is they do offer you shorter pours.
That's true.
Yes, that's true.
And so you can, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I had shorter pours there because I knew we were gearing up for an evening. And so you can save a little money and also like try a few things there and not get completely toasted. So
yeah, and I used to go do the Proletariat on Tuesday nights because I was at I used to go to this open mic, which is still going down at St. Mark's every Tuesday, the open mic at Under St. Mark's, and it was 2 doors over was Proletariat. So if you get yourself on the open mic list, and if I was like 20, I'd be like, I'm going to go to Proletariat for a couple. So it was always a nice mellow vibe. It's nothing. I've always enjoyed Proletariat, but yeah, it certainly seemed to be one of the most expensive bars for craft beer. They just they did charge a lot, but everyone's charging a lot now.
Right. Well, they can afford to. But at the same time, it was nice to be back. And I gotta say, the new space is lovely. It's very inviting. It's a place that you kind of want to spend time. And yeah, it's pricey, but you feel like the atmosphere and the quality of beer curation definitely match up for the amount that you're paying.
Yeah, it's a good spot for sure. Well, I want to know where else you guys went.
They seem to have a nice food menu too, but we didn't have any food there because we went there straight from the Bronx Brewery's new place in the East Village.
Oh yeah, that's
They've
right.
got
which was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big fan.
And what I loved is like, I mean, that's another one where they had. I'm glad it was there. This is a beer that they're definitely not mass producing. I think it's only there, but they had a wonderful Baltic porter there that I had on draft, and they make burgers there. That it's like they're what they call I think the official style is called smash burger, not to be confused with capital S smash burger, because that's a chain, right?
Right.
Yes,
smash burger is a style as well as a brand name.
Well, and that's the style of burgers they had. It was a really, really nice burgers. I can't remember what variety I had or what variety you had for that matter.
Yeah, I had one named after the city. I do recall being very impressed by their Ayanapa burger, which was based off of halloumi cheese, which brought me back to my youth when I lived on the island of Cyprus for a year.
Yeah.
And so I was all excited about that. But Swedish chain. I did have one of the Bronx Brewery's IPAs while I was there. It was delightful as always. And I gotta say, it's just nice to have those beers a little bit more accessible to those of us who are not going all the way up to the Bronx. It was nice to have a space where we could enjoy all of their beers together downtown.
And
I'm excited it's there.
I'm going to say that I had an IPA there as well.
You did?
So just so no one out there thinks I just hate IPAs, I don't.
I have seen you enjoy them, yes.
And this one in particular, they have one that's on their regular thing called World Gone Hazy. And this was a different one with some spices that are similar to rosé. Called World Gone Rosé, and I just found that to be a really delightful beer. I enjoyed that one as well. So yeah.
Right. So we hit the Proletariat that evening along with Brooklyn, or excuse me, Bronx Breweries,
right?
And then I'll be honest, we did 5 bars that night.
Wow.
And which I think was unintended because we were going on we were checking in on the East Village, just verifying that everything was still there. Sure. Because you have to every once in a while just make sure nothing like moved. But after we did Proletariat, everything started to get a little bit hazy for me. So, Captain, maybe you can help fill me.
No pun intended.
I'm going to give it in a second, but first I'm going to open up my second pour, which is
very exciting.
Another one from Little Dog called. It's just their porter.
Oh, it's just a lovely porter.
Yeah. Thank you for that musical flourish.
Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, beers need an introduction, and that's why
Little Dog. Oh, this is the porter.
Yes,
right.
This is the porter.
Ooh, bold.
That nice chocolatey porter thing, I think.
Yeah.
There it is. Let's get the nice little slating here going on. All right. So yeah, I believe now I think we went. You may be right that we went to 5 places, but if my memory serves correctly, we actually didn't go into one of the 5.
That might be what it was. That might be what it was.
We just looked in the window.
I mean, so we did. Bronx and Proletariat were distinct. Then we went and had a lovely backyard beer at a bottle shop where we were visited by.
It's called Good Beer.
Good beer.
Good beer. I used to go there.
But before we went there, we tried to go to Barcade, but it was a little too crowded for your comfort.
Yes, we are, still COVID surging slightly, and I was like, "Oh, these are cheek to jowl. We're going to pass on that one." So,
I used to do the Barcade too on Tuesday nights. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, we went to Good Beer. It was really nice. Got to sort of. I think they had Mexican cake. The Westbrook Mexican cake on draft. Yeah. So I'm finding I see. It's not that I can't find stuff I like. It's just a little more difficult. It's if you really look for it, you can still find everything. And I just wish that were easier. But in any case, I'm glad it was. And so we hung out in the backyard with.
And I do want to note, if you think I'm just IPAs, I did have a Hefeweizen while I was there.
Oh, there you go.
So yes, but anyway, we hung out in the back with rats. Is what I recall.
And then we went to some other place over on St. Mark's that I'd never seen before, but it's maybe been there 2-3 years. It's just it's a little further down from where the old Proletariat was, but not all the way to the other corner. But it's like a bottle shop and
right.
A bar.
I know what you're talking about.
But I had never.
It's a chain. It's a city chain.
Is it?
There's a few of them around. Yeah, I just can't think of the name of it. But yeah,
I mean, they did. It was a good little spot. I was really impressed by what was on offer.
Yeah.
And we were closing them down too, so they were nice but eager to get rid of us.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to when I was at Blind Tiger last week. I was there was one of those really great experiences where you just
craft and carry.
Okay, that sounds right. Craft and carry.
That sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah, because there's one in Chelsea. I mean, there's one in Gramercy. There's one on the west side.
Right. We went to you and I went to a craft and carry once in Gramercy.
Oh, that's right. When you were yes, I remember that. Teaching, I remember I had a maple imperial stout from 14th Star Brewing.
As one should.
I just like it when I can just remember the one beer that I had at the place.
Yes.
Craft and carry. Yeah, they're good. They're a good spot.
And that was where we called it a night after that one.
I see. All right.
It's also been kind of a go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say we did well, but also I think I was a little, yeah, it was definitely crafted carry. I'm just double checking my own notes, but
Okay.
but I think the reason I think of it as 5 is that I'm pretty sure I had 5 beers that night, and that's
Okay.
very much the top limit for the beer
It's
wonder.
a lot for
Like
the beer
that's
wonder.
that's where we end.
Yeah.
Like 5 full beers. That's where we stop.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember whether I had. I think I might have. I might have only had 6. Because I
You
definitely
did have one more than me. I remember that.
okay. Because I definitely had 2 at the first place, 2 at the second place, and that Mexican cake.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's 4, 5. Yeah, I'm not. I don't
Yep.
remember for sure.
Because I had 2. I had 2 at Proletariat, and then 1 at every other place. So that does.
It's possible. I don't know. Anyway, but we had a lovely time.
And just in case anyone was wondering, the East Village is still there.
Yes,
It
it is.
hasn't left. It hasn't left.
It is.
It's still very much
Just
there.
because I left,
I know.
it's still going.
You took the soul of it, but the functioning is still there. It's still
The
happening.
functionality is still.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the open mic still goes without me.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds great. I wish I could have joined you on that, guys.
Well, you'll just have to come back.
Yeah.
That said, I did go on a bit of an adventure with a named beer venture who is not with us. That would, of course, be the Globe Hopper.
Oh yes.
Yes, he sends, of course, his regards. And it had been just a minute since he and I had had a chance to catch up. And I always have a good time when I go out with him. So I proposed that we head over to the Big Alice Barrel Room in Brooklyn, where the captain still has not been.
I
Love
still
it.
have not been there. That's true.
Yeah, but it's a good spot. Huck knows.
Oh yeah,
knows it
I've
well.
been there a few times. Yeah.
Yep.
Did brewery tours there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did want to just note that of the 13 beers that they currently have on tap, only one of them is an IPA.
Yes. That's where you go if you want to avoid the IPAs. Could have been.
Yes.
I see people walk out.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, I was standing outside Big Alice Bear Room one time, and this guy comes out. He's like, "Do you believe this list? There's not one IPA on the list. Are you kidding me?"
See, and I've never said that about stouts.
Exactly. Well, Captain, clearly we need to drag you out there. Of course, the Globe Hopper, who is, I'm sure, listening, hey, will happily join us any day. But we had an excellent time discussing the challenges of the world and ensuring that the Beer Avenger Spear was well taken care of within our 2 worlds. I did also want to report that he has become an excellent home brewer. And is producing really good stuff. And so I know
can't keep up with him. I still haven't poured the last one he gave me.
I know. Yeah,
and now he needs the bottle back, so I guess I'm doing that soon.
Well, exactly. I'm actually hopefully going to be making a delivery of stuff to him in the next couple of days so that he's got more room to brew, because he's like knocking them out and consistently making great stuff. But what I wanted to what I did want to sort of throw out to there is that first off, they've got some really excellent milds that they've got out right now that are really interesting, and they're doing a wonderful smoked beer called the Low and Slow. However, the joy of the Barrel Room is that what they're trying to do is make barrel-aged beers accessible. And while I know that I am not allowed to mention specifically which beer it is, they do have a barrel-aged beer that will be going on tap there that they have been aging for a few months. They're going to be announcing a release party very soon for a really special beer that all the beer tenders I spoke to there that evening were very excited about. So if you're not already following our dear friends at Big Alice on the gram, make sure you're there, because they've got a very special barrel-aged beer. It's been going for over a year, and they're still working out the last couple of kinks of it to make sure it works out, coming out very soon. So keep an eye on what they're doing there.
And the Beer Wonder has a lot of integrity, not telling you what it is, because definitely he's not going to tell us once we press stop. He's not going to tell us what it is. So we'll
absolutely
we
not.
could just guess.
None of you will know. The thing is, I know, because we have our millions of listeners at Beer Vengers all across the globe. I can't spoil the secret for them.
Well, I've looked at the barrels they have in the room, so I could guess from.
You probably could, and yeah, it's going to be a real fun one. So if you are a fan of barrel aged beers, make sure that you're keeping an eye on what Big Alice is doing, because I'm not a fan of barrel aged beers, and I will be there.
Excellent.
I'll say that
there
much.
you go.
Yep.
That sounds like something to look forward to.
Yeah, and perhaps may require some investigation.
Right
Just
on.
throwing that out there. Yeah.
All right, well, guys, it's been a good show.
It is. I did want to mention a couple more things. I don't see where are we going too long?
No idea.
No idea. I mean, neither, because we
got so many interesting bumps in the road today.
I know, it's we've learned things. Well, if we're doing that, I did want to throw out one more like fun little misadventure I had.
Please.
So, in the weird world that consists of the Beer Wonders life, I did wind up at a brewery.
Weird.
Or a brew pub called Esther's Pub in Denver, Colorado. Now we may know that Denver is, a beer town,
An amazing beer town, yeah.
and truly exceptional beer town. Well, the Esther's is a beer bar and pizza place, which also, as we all know, is probably the best combination out there.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Really excellent combo. And so, unfortunately, because I was there in a work circumstance, I did not get to fully investigate Denver's scene. So I'm just saying it requires additional Beer Venger work. So I'm just putting that out there to all of our fellow Beer Vengers. Do your work and let us know. But I was able to get my hands on a delicious Coriolis effect from New Image Brewing Company, which was a New England style IPA, roughly 6.5% from Arvada, Colorado. And it was everything I wanted in a Colorado beer. That said, the number of times I had Fat Tire pushed to me just kind of warmed my heart. And if you go to the Denver airport, they have Fat Tire to go. And I was like, you know what? This fits every stereotype I ever wanted with Denver, and I'm proud of it.
Did you find any of the New Belgium that you don't see here that you wish they had here?
See, that was the thing. I was trying to find a like weird one, but most of the stuff was stuff that at least in grocery stores, I didn't go to the brewery, and I didn't see anything on their beer list that seemed particularly exceptional. I think once you're in the airport, I imagine they put restrictions on who can be there. I bet AB InBev's got like rules and nonsense.
Yeah, and if you go to their brewery, it'd probably be different, but yeah.
I'm sure, yeah. But what I was seeing in grocery stores and what I was seeing at the airport, none of it really rang as like the, oh, New Belgium, I really want that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right.
Right
So
on.
there, I do want to, I know we've been here for a while, but I do want to just give a shout out as far as birthdays go. Because, well, first of all, Beer Wonder and I, we forgot to mention on the last one that we went to the Ponies.
That is true.
Was their 13th birthday this year?
Lucky number 13. Yeah.
Yes.
It was good times.
Yes. And then also, Jared just celebrated the first year anniversary of Sweet Avenue last weekend.
Hey, congratulations, Sweet Avenue. That's awesome.
So happy birthday to them. But I've got to mention especially our sponsor, because we talked so much about it last year, the Beer and Cheese Collective, as they're now known. They have been in business for 8 years. None of the other Beer Vengers who were there with me last year were able to go. So my friend Ray, I've talked about him on
of the Beer Vengers.
Well, I was there.
I wasn't there.
I'm shaming them all.
And one of them had COVID.
No.
Awkward.
I'm glad they didn't go then.
Yes, yeah. Me too, because I wouldn't want to sit with her.
What about our friend? What was his name?
I don't remember if I saw him.
He must have been there.
I was hanging out with my friend Ray. I mentioned him a while back, way early on, because he was sending emails, listening to some of our first ones. In fact, we need to have him on at some point or another. But it was the first one of those he's been to the place before, but his first birthday he'd been to, and it's always nice to have a situation like that to introduce someone to the place.
Nice,
because
that's always nice. Yeah.
I've managed to do that a few times, so that was really great. And I won't go into their incredible list of curated beers they had for that, but just know that the last time I was there, most of them were still on draft. Nice. Rather than switch back to their regular thing, they kept most of their anniversary beers on there. So if you want to go there and explore that. Also, by the time we release this will be irrelevant, but Killsborough is having a special tasting event there this Friday that I'm looking forward to going to. I actually was able to visit their new space with the Belgian Babe about a month ago.
Nice.
Had a really nice time, a little day trip out to Staten Island. And speaking of day trips, I have to mention this. I know you're getting a little tired, Huck, but I mentioned this brewery.
Yeah, it's already 5:41 in the afternoon. So.
Yeah, I know. It's almost time for the early bird special, isn't it?
That's right. It's past dinner time already.
But I really got to talk about this wonderful trip I took to the Jersey Shore on Saturday.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
So, as you know, we work for a company called, all of us happen to work, not all the Beer Vengers, but the three of us and a couple of other ones happen to work for City Brew Tours in various capacities, and they just opened a new franchise in the Jersey Shore. So the
Woo.
Belgian babe and I got on the New Jersey Transit, went out there. They picked you up right at the train station, and a guy named Darren, who has the new franchise, he took us to all these places. Also, I mentioned AJ, one of our fans last time,
Yes.
who listens to us while he gardens.
We should also have him on for the record.
Absolutely, we should.
Yeah.
He and his wife Katie were there. They just had twins about 6 weeks ago, and
Hey,
I think it was
AJ.
their first time out of the house.
That's
but it was
great. What fun.
It was kind of funny though. We're sitting at a table with them, and she was like, it's strange hearing your voice and seeing a face, because I guess AJ listens to me without his headphones in, and she recognized my voice from the podcast.
Oh, that's great. Shout out.
Yeah, but it was great, because it's like some of these breweries on the Jersey Shore is kind of a sprawling place. So we're stretched out. So Darren had a lot of like great facts about both the history of beer and the history of the breweries. The ones we went to, in addition to Little Dog, were Jug Handle, Alternate Ending, and Bedford. And it was really interesting because all of the different places had their own. I mean, it was a really nice bunch of breweries, as far as all had a very distinctly different character to them, including Alternate Endings. Is like this. Alternate Endings is in a former movie theater, and they really have a whole movie theme there. With like all these like they like the beers, sometimes all the ones they have there have some kind of like movie reference names to them, as well as Jersey ones, because we all couldn't decide whether, because one of the beers is called What If, which is like, I guess the idea like that's something else someone's thinking when they're writing a screenplay.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then one of the other beers is called What Not, which I insisted was a New Jersey reference, because I think what not is something I hear is like a New Jersey idiom, at least certain parts of, we're like talking about so and so and so and whatnot.
Oh, I was thinking George Wallace, the comedian. Yeah, that's his kind of catchphrase.
He says whatnot as well.
Yeah.
He might be from New Jersey. I'm not sure.
If you follow his Twitter.
Yeah,
and I recommend it to everyone. George Wallace's Twitter is very funny.
Excellent. But if you ever see Kevin Smith interviewed, he says whatnot like every other sentence.
Ah, okay, maybe it is.
In addition to actually another beer that Katie asked me, like, what or I think, I can't remember if it was Katie or AJ. I think it was AJ. I said, can you explain to me what this beer means? There was something where it said Snoochie Boochies, which is a reference to Jay of Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
yes.
How cool that you got to go on a tour with AJ. That's fun.
But yeah. But Darren gives a really nice tour. So if anyone is interested in going on that, they were all really nice breweries. Because it was cool. He was giving us stuff about the area. Now here's something I did. Have you ever heard what sometimes is known as the Grandma Pizza, as New Jersey style?
I know about tomato pie is what I understand is a Jersey style.
Well, it's kind of like a thin topping and a really spongy crust.
Yeah, isn't that like Sicilian? That's what I've always thought.
That's what I thought too. But Darren referred to it as New Jersey style.
Oh, okay. Well, tomato pie I know is the sauce on top of the cheese.
Yes,
that was not this. No,
and that is related to New Jersey, as is scunguli. Scunguli, which is conch. Scunguli, yeah. which is conch.
Yeah, this was it was nice. They get it like generally speaking. I don't know if it's how it is when you guys go on these various tours, where he would get a pitcher and just sort of keep distributing all these.
Oh, I love that
small things.
That's the best way.
But at this place we got there because
fun.
It was the lunchtime stop. They had all our flights laid out for us and brought us the pizza and traditional Caesar salad. And by traditional, I mean including anchovies.
There you go.
It's rare that I got Caesar salad with actual anchovies in it.
Well, I know they're not a sponsor, but I totally recommend City Brew Tours all over the country. And in New York City, we got great tours that are
only the finest.
Pours galore. That's what I love about it.
But I gotta say, if you want the ultimate experience, whether it is with beer, ice cream, or tea, it's unboxed experiences on the internet. That's the one you want to go for.
That's where you're gonna find one of us for sure.
Most weeks.
I also really want to. I feel like I really want to thank again Beer and Cheese Collective for sponsoring us, since we mentioned so many other people who aren't sponsoring us.
Yeah,
but they're still
those other people, even the ones I just
we love all those other people, and we're. I mean, that's the thing is we were mentioning all these people before, and we still will, but Beer and Cheese Collective is our only official sponsor.
I think
and we love them too.
Should sponsor us as well. We should
They
look
should.
into that. Actually,
they should. Yeah.
They should send us beers, which they do.
They do actually sometimes.
They do. Yeah.
But that is true. Beer and Cheese Collective does keep us up to
Yes.
date on some of the freshest beers that are out there. And if that's something that you're interested in and you happen to be in Gotham City, make sure you swing by.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
Sure. Or any of our other 14 cities. Is it up 15? We're up to 15 cities for City Brew Tours now.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a lot. They're all over the country.
It's a lot.
So
And everywhere but California.
They're still not in California.
I'm just saying,
they're
Huck,
just not here yet.
Huck, Fresno needs a tour, and if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be you.
Figures to start my own franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No
It's
problem.
easy.
Well, my summer has been summer of fun. Like I said, a lot of fun pool parties and lots of. I've had some really great beers this summer, but it's been a summer of injuries for me.
Oh,
I've torn a muscle in my left calf 3 times, 3 different times. The third time had me going to the emergency room to see if I had a blood clot. And the night before I went to the emergency room, I was pulling off my sock, and you can just take a look. You can just see my hand.
oh dear! There's like a bend in your ring finger.
Yeah.
There.
So it's like it doesn't really hurt anymore, but it's still not straightening out. So I've been having some problems, but still great beer summer. And California beers are so great. I really been enjoying a lot of breweries. And a shout out to the Market, which is where I get all my cans and bottles. And the Market is actually the name of the grocery store. What's funny is it's like this little old lady grocery store, and little old ladies, I love them. But it's like you wouldn't expect this incredible craft beer selection when you walk into this place, and it's there. It's there. They do single cans. They don't sell 4-packs of this stuff.
Oh wow!
They sell single cans, and I go in and I pick and choose. You get 10% off if you buy a 6-pack. So shout out to the Market. That's where I got both beers I tried today.
All right.
So
well, the little old ladies, they can't handle more than one at a time. So
what's funny is I went in one day and I had a full fridge, so I was actually getting groceries, and I wasn't going to get anything, but I'm looking. Of course, you got to look. This is something new, and a little old lady came by in her cart, and she goes, "That one's a good one. You should try that." And I was like, "Okay," and I bought it. She was right. Actually, I have it here, but I didn't drink it. It's the Kelly Squeeze. So next time we'll get that going. That's a Firestone.
Excellent.
Brand. It's a blood orange Hefeweizen.
It's a nice tease.
Little tease
for the next episode.
Future episodes.
Yeah.
Wow, what a good show. Good show, guys.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to, you probably know this, but just as a little reminder, you can find us wherever you find your podcasts. And if you want to follow us and subscribe and review and all that, and reach out to us if you want to tell us what you want in future episodes. You can find us at The Beer Vengers. That's at Instagram. That's at Facebook. That's on Twitter. Or just thebeervengers@gmail.com. Just
still haven't got a TikTok going, but soon we're gonna get.
Soon.
I actually have subscribed the Beer Vengers to TikTok, so you can show me how it works, or I can give you the login information. And
Huck,
and you can get
Huck
that started.
is an influencer. Huck is an influencer.
I did just have a video go viral.
See,
1,200 views.
Oh, well, just so you know, there's a cream for that.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
2 crack ups in one show. All right. I love it.
It's been a thing, and hopefully you had a good time. And now Huck will play us out. See you next time, everybody.
With the beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers.
We're the Beer Vengers.